Greeting globetrotters and history nerds, buckle up for another wild ride on our channel of the world. We're on a mission to unravel the tantalizing tales that have given shape to our planet one nation at a time. Our weekly series, Nations of the World, is like a treasure hunt for the marvels of history that make each country a unique piece of the global jigsaw. Today, get ready to pack your thermals because we're venturing into the refrigerator of the world, the magnificent Canada. With an area that spans 6 time zones from the Atlantic to the Pacific and reaching out to the tips of the Arctic Ocean, Canada is like Earth's version of a buffet, showcasing a mind-boggling array of geographical wonders. It's got the thunderous Niagara Falls, which makes any shower you've ever taken look pitiful, the raw allure of Banff National Park, and the cloud-kissing marvel that is the CN Tower. From its coastal glitter to its forested belly, Canada's geographical diversity is as vast as the variety of toppings on a Canadian pizza. And speaking of symbols, we can't say Canada without tipping our hats to the iconic maple leaf. It's not just a fancy decoration on the flag, it's a national emblem that resonates with every Canadian and their intrinsic love of the outdoors. If it was on a dating app, its bio would read, "Deep-rooted connection to nature, loves long walks in the forest." As we journey into Canada's history, we'll dig up stories of early inhabitants like their buried treasure, assess the waves made by European settlement, and witness the birth of a nation. We'll follow Canada's rollercoaster ride through the World Wars and into the selfie era. We'll get to know the celebrities of Canada's history and spot what makes this land a one-of-a-kind place. We'll also unravel why Quebec, a slice of Canada, seems to speak French, adding an extra sprinkle of sophistication to the country's cultural cocktail. So, put on your explorer hats as we set off on a historical safari through the vast and diverse land of Canada. Whether you're a history geek or a wanderlust-infected traveler, Canada's riveting tale has got something to tickle your fancy. Remember, your likes and comments are the jet fuel to our content spaceship. So, cast your votes and tell us which country you'd like us to probe next in our Nations of the World series. Our journey begins thousands of years ago with the first inhabitants of Canada, the indigenous peoples. These ancient societies, rich in culture and tradition, were the original stewards of the land we now know as Canada. There were numerous tribes, each with their own unique customs, languages, and ways of life. From the Inuit in the Arctic to the Mi'kmaq in the East, the diversity was vast and the landscape a canvas upon which they etched their histories. The indigenous peoples lived in harmony with the land, nurturing it and being nurtured by it in return. They cultivated a deep understanding and respect for the natural world, which was reflected in their spiritual beliefs, social structures, and everyday practices. Famous historical figures arose from these tribes, individuals who would shape the course of Canada's early history. One such figure was Tecumseh, a Shawnee warrior and chief who became a significant leader in the early 19th century. Tecumseh's bravery and strategic genius made him a formidable force. He sought to unify the indigenous tribes in response to the encroaching European settlers, advocating for unity and resistance. Another influential figure was Pontiac, an Ottawa chief who led what came to be known as Pontiac's War in the mid-18th century. This was a unified attempt by several tribes to resist the British occupation of the Great Lakes region. Pontiac's leadership and his efforts to preserve his people's lands and way of life have left an indelible mark on Canada's early history. These leaders were not just warriors, they were visionaries who understood the importance of unity in the face of adversity. Their stories are interwoven into the fabric of Canada's history, standing as reminders of the strength and resilience of the indigenous peoples. But the indigenous tribes were not just about war and resistance. They were societies that celebrated life, nature, and community. They held ceremonies and festivals, created beautiful art and crafts, and passed down stories and legends that have survived to this day. Their contributions to Canada's cultural heritage are immense. As we delve further into Canada's history, it's crucial to remember that these early cultures were here long before the arrival of Europeans. They were the first to hunt in the vast forests, fish in the mighty rivers, and gaze upon the northern lights in the starlit skies. They were the first to call this land home. These early cultures laid the groundwork for the Canada we know today. They were the custodians of the land, the original Canadians, and their legacy continues to influence and shape the nation. As we move forward in our journey through time, We carry with us the stories of these earliest inhabitants, their triumphs and their struggles, their hopes and their dreams, for they are an integral part of the rich tapestry that is Canada's history. The course of Canada's history took a significant turn with the arrival of European explorers. The first to venture into this vast unknown territory were the Vikings, under the leadership of Leif Erikson, around the year 1000 AD. They established a brief settlement known as Vinland, likely in the area of modern-day Newfoundland. However, the Viking presence in Canada was short-lived, and they eventually retreated, leaving the land again to its indigenous inhabitants. Almost 600 years later, in the late 15th century, a new wave of European exploration began. This time, it was the French and the British who cast their gaze upon the untapped potential of Canada. Jacques Cartier, a French explorer, was among the first to make significant inroads. In 1534, he sailed up the St. Lawrence River, claiming the area for France and naming it Canada, after the Iroquois word Kanata, meaning village or settlement. Cartier's voyages laid the groundwork for the establishment of Quebec City in 1608 by Samuel de Champlain, another French explorer. This marked the beginning of a permanent European presence in Canada. Quebec City served as the stronghold of French power in the New World, with its strategic location along the St. Lawrence River, making it a vital hub for trade and exploration. However, the French were not the only European power interested in Canada. The British too saw the vast potential of this new land. They established their first permanent settlement in 1611 in what is now Nova Scotia. The stage was set for a struggle between these two European powers that would shape the course of Canada's history. This era of European exploration and settlement was not without its conflicts and challenges. The newcomers brought with them diseases to which the indigenous population had no immunity, resulting in devastating epidemics. Moreover, the Europeans' arrival disrupted the indigenous people's ways of life as they were drawn into the fur trade, and their traditional lands were increasingly encroached upon. Despite these hardships, there were also alliances formed and cultural exchanges that took place. The French in particular developed close relationships with many of the indigenous tribes, intermarrying and establishing trading partnerships. These alliances would prove crucial in the centuries-long struggle for control of Canada. This era marked the beginning of a new chapter in Canada's history, full of conflict, alliances, and change. The European influence would shape the country in profound ways, laying the groundwork for the diverse and vibrant nation that Canada is today. From a collection of British colonies, Canada began to develop its own identity. The formation of a confederation in 1867 marked the first significant step toward this self-realization. The British North America Act, signed in that year, united three colonies, Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick, along with Nova Scotia, into a federal dominion. This was the birth of modern Canada as we know it. A key figure in this transformative era was Sir John A. Macdonald, Canada's first Prime Minister. Macdonald, a shrewd and charismatic leader, was instrumental in steering the course of the newly formed nation. His vision of a united Canada stretching from sea to sea was a driving force behind the expansion of the country's borders and the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway. The Canadian Pacific Railway, completed in 1885, was more than just a transportation project. It was a symbol of unity and a testament to the country's ambition. This transcontinental railway connected the Atlantic and Pacific coasts, opening up the vast expanses of the Canadian wilderness to settlement and development. It played a pivotal role in the growth and prosperity of the nation, attracting immigrants from around the world and fostering a sense of national identity. Amidst this era of expansion and growth, the Klondike Gold Rush of 1897 brought another wave of immigration and economic boom. As thousands flocked to the Yukon in search of fortune, towns sprung up overnight and the region's population exploded. This event, though short-lived, had a lasting impact on Canada's economy and its international reputation. While the Confederation and the subsequent growth of Canada were steps towards autonomy, it was not until the Statute of Westminster in 1931 that Canada gained full legislative independence from Britain. This act recognized Canada as an equal and independent partner within the Commonwealth. This period of growth and expansion was not without its challenges and controversies. The treatment of indigenous peoples during this time, including forced assimilation and the imposition of treaties, is a dark chapter in Canada's history that continues to reverberate today. The nation's growth came at a significant cost, and the reconciliation process with indigenous communities is an ongoing journey. Reflecting on this era, it's clear to see how these events shaped Canada's identity. The Confederation, the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, the Klondike Gold Rush, and the struggle for autonomy. These were all pivotal moments in Canada's journey to selfhood. They formed the foundation of a country that would continue to grow and evolve, driven by a spirit of unity, ambition, and resilience. This period of growth and expansion paved the way for Canada to step onto the world stage. But as we'll see in the next scene, the challenges and triumphs of the 20th century would test the nation in new ways, shaping its character and place in the world even further. In the first half of the 20th century, Canada played significant roles in two world wars. As Europe descended into chaos and conflict during World War I, Canada, as part of the British Empire, was automatically involved. Yet it was far from a passive participant. Over 600,000 Canadians served in the war, a staggering figure considering the country's population barely exceeded 8 million. Their contributions were substantial and shaped the outcome of many battles. One significant figure of this time was Arthur Currie, who rose from a simple militia gunner to become the first Canadian to attain the rank of full general. His leadership in key battles such as Vimy Ridge and Passchendaele helped secure Allied victories, changing the tide of the war. Canada's contribution was not limited to the battlefield. The country also provided financial aid, resources, and other forms of support. The war, however, came at a heavy cost, with more than 60,000 Canadians losing their lives and over 170,000 wounded. The nation's involvement in World War II was a continuation of its commitment to global peace. This time, Canada entered the war by its own decision, independent of Britain. More than 1 million Canadians served in this war, both at home and abroad. Among the many Canadian heroes of World War II, Billy Bishop stands out. A flying ace of the First World War, Bishop was instrumental in establishing and promoting the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. This program, based largely in Canada, trained more than 130,000 pilots and crew from across the Commonwealth, playing a crucial role in the air war against the Axis powers. Canada's role in the Second World War extended beyond military involvement. The country became a major player in war production, providing ships, aircraft, vehicles, and munitions. This period saw a significant expansion of Canada's industrial capacity, setting the stage for post-war economic growth. The impact of the World Wars on Canada was profound. The nation emerged from the conflicts with a newfound sense of national identity and international recognition. The wars accelerated the transformation of Canada from a dominion of Britain to an independent nation with its own voice in global affairs. These wars also brought social changes. Women, for instance, took on new roles in society and the workforce, leading to greater gender equality. The wars also spurred advancements in science and technology and led to the creation of social welfare programs to support returning soldiers and their families. These wars changed Canada, solidifying its place in the world and shaping its future. The courage, resilience, and sacrifices of Canadians during the World Wars are a testament to the country's commitment to peace and freedom. They are an integral part of Canada's history, helping define who Canadians are as a people and a nation. Post-war Canada saw even more growth and change, developing into the country we see today. With the end of World War II, Canada found itself in a period of unprecedented prosperity and expansion. This was largely due to a wave of immigration that significantly contributed to its population and cultural diversity. It was during this time that Canada truly began to open its doors to the world, welcoming newcomers from Europe, Asia, and later from all corners of the globe. This influx of diverse cultures has played a crucial role in shaping the multicultural identity that Canada is celebrated for today. Yet, this period was not without its challenges. One of the most significant was the Quebec sovereignty movement, a political movement advocating for the province of Quebec to become a sovereign state. The French-speaking province has a distinct cultural identity, and its relationship with the rest of Canada has been a defining feature of the country's history. The movement reached its peak in the late 20th century with two referendums held on the issue. Although the movement ultimately did not succeed, it has had a lasting impact on Canada's political landscape and has shaped the unique bilingual nature of the country. In the midst of these changes, Canada was also redefining its legal and social framework. In 1982, the country adopted the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This document, a part of the Constitution, guarantees fundamental freedoms to all Canadians, such as freedom of expression, religion, and equality rights. This was a pivotal moment in Canada's history, cementing its commitment to human rights and setting a global example. Now, let's talk about some of the individuals who've left their mark on modern Canada. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Canada's 15th Prime Minister, is one such figure. Serving from 1968 to 1984, Trudeau is remembered for his charismatic personality and his significant contributions to Canadian law and society, including the patriation of the Constitution and the establishment of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Another iconic figure is Terry Fox, a young man who, after losing his leg to cancer, embarked on a cross-country run to raise money for cancer research. His marathon of hope, as it came to be known, captured the hearts of Canadians and people around the world. Although Terry was unable to complete his run due to the return of his cancer, his legacy lives on, with annual Terry Fox runs held across the country. Modern Canada continues to evolve, shaped by its history and the people who call it home. It's a nation that's proud of its multicultural heritage, its commitment to rights and freedoms, and its spirit of resilience and innovation. It's a place where everyone, regardless of their background, can find a home. From its natural beauty to its cultural contributions, Canada is famous for many things. Beginning with its breathtaking landscapes, Canada is a treasure trove of natural beauty. It is home to the majestic Rocky Mountains, the sprawling prairies, and the awe-inspiring Niagara Falls. The country's diverse geography is a wonder to behold, from the stunning coastlines of British Columbia to the picturesque landscapes of Prince Edward Island. Canada also boasts a wealth of wildlife, with creatures as diverse as the mighty polar bear in the north to the playful beaver, the country's national animal. But Canada is not just a feast for the eyes, it's also a feast for the palate. The country is renowned for its delectable cuisine, especially the sweet delight of maple syrup. Harvested from the sap of the country's abundant maple trees, Canadian maple syrup is a culinary treat enjoyed around the world. And let's not forget about the quintessential Canadian dish poutine. This hearty meal, consisting of fries topped with cheese curds and drenched in gravy, is a must-try for any food enthusiast. Moving on to the realm of sports, no conversation about Canada would be complete without mentioning hockey. Canada's love for this icy sport is legendary. The country has produced some of the world's finest players and teams, and the game is woven into the fabric of Canadian culture. Whether it's the thrill of the National Hockey League or the camaraderie of a local community rink, hockey runs deep in the Canadian soul. Canada is also celebrated for its commitment to multiculturalism. The country prides itself on being a mosaic of cultures, where diversity is not just tolerated but embraced. People from all corners of the globe have made Canada their home, contributing to a rich tapestry of traditions, languages, and customs. This multicultural ethos is reflected in everything from Canada's food scene to its arts and entertainment, making it a vibrant and inclusive nation. Another unique aspect of Canada is its bilingualism. English and French are the two official languages, adding to the country's cultural richness. The province of Quebec, in particular, is predominantly French-speaking, preserving its French heritage with pride and passion. Canada's contributions to the world of entertainment cannot be overlooked. From the comedic genius of Jim Carrey and Mike Myers to the musical talents of Justin Bieber and Celine Dion, Canada has gifted the world with entertainers who have left an indelible mark on global pop culture. The country is also a leader in technological innovation, with Canadian inventors and scientists making significant contributions in fields such as medicine, communications, and environmental science. These are just some of the things that make Canada unique on the world stage. From its stunning landscapes to its cultural diversity, from its passion for hockey to its sweet maple syrup, Canada is a country that captivates, intrigues, and leaves a lasting impression. It's no wonder that Canada is famous for so many things. Today, Canada, a country consisting of 10 provinces, Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec and Saskatchewan, stands as one of the world's most developed nations. Its government, a federal parliamentary democracy and a constitutional monarchy, is a fascinating mix of British and French systems, a blend that is reflected across the diverse provinces. The structure allows for a balance of powers, with its head of state being the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and the head of government being the Prime Minister. At present, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, son of Pierre Elliott Trudeau, holds the reins, steering the Canadian ship through the waters of global politics, economic challenges and social changes. This individual, elected by the people, is the one who commands the government, oversees the functioning of the state, and represents each of the 10 provinces both at home and on the international stage. Now, let's take a linguistic turn. If you happen to stroll down the streets of Quebec, one of the 10 provinces, don't be surprised if bonjour is the greeting you receive. Yes, Quebec still boasts a strong French-speaking population. This is a nod to Canada's early days when French and British settlers made their mark on the land. Even though English is predominantly spoken across the other provinces, French holds its ground firmly in Quebec, with around 80% of its population using it as their first language. This bilingual nature is a cornerstone of Canadian identity, adding a unique flavor to its cultural melting pot across all of its provinces. From its earliest inhabitants to its role in global affairs, Canada's history is as vast and diverse as the country itself. In the span of 25 minutes, we've traveled through thousands of years, from the first indigenous peoples who called this land home, to the European settlers who forever changed its landscape, and the Confederation that gave birth to the Canada we know today. We've witnessed Canada's growing influence on the global stage, from its significant role in the world wars to its status as a modern, multicultural nation. We've admired its breathtaking landmarks, from the rugged Rocky Mountains to the bustling metropolis of Toronto and the tranquil beauty of Prince Edward Island. We've delved into the unique aspects that make Canada famous, from its love for ice hockey and maple syrup to its commitment to multiculturalism and human rights. We've even explored the fascinating linguistic landscape of Quebec, where French isn't just a language but a vibrant part of the province's identity. We've looked at Canada today, a country that continues to evolve and redefine itself on the world stage. We've touched on its current governance, the leaders who steer its course, and the symbols that represent its rich heritage and diverse population. But our journey doesn't end here. History is a living, breathing entity, constantly changing and evolving. And Canada, with its mix of old world charm and new world innovation, continues to write its own unique chapter in the annals of history. So whether you're a history enthusiast or a curious explorer, there's always more to discover about this vast and diverse country. And we hope that our journey through Canada's history has sparked your curiosity to learn more. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Canada's history. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and let us know in the comments which country you'd like to see next in our Nations of the World series. Until next time, keep exploring. We hope you have enjoyed this journey through Canada's history. If you did, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Your likes and subscriptions help us continue to deliver interesting content like this, and we appreciate your support. We're always excited to hear from our viewers, so don't forget to drop a comment below and let us know which country you'd like us to explore next in our Nations of the World series. We're committed to taking you on a weekly voyage, exploring the rich histories, cultures, and stories of different nations. Your interaction and suggestions help shape our journey. So, which corner of the globe shall we venture to next? You decide. Your support helps us create more content and keeps this channel going. So, until our next journey, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious. And remember, history is not just about the past, but also about how it shapes our present and future. Thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Stay safe and keep exploring.